to be here, and I love the title. Reggae means business. Reggae is business.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Neil, tell us a bit about yourself and your background first.
Well, I was born in Georgetown, Guyana,
Okay.
and then I came to England when I was 14 years old in 1969, and I went to school here. And you know, before coming here, I was very curious and interested in electronics, and to me, electronics was magic, right?
Yeah.
And in our house, we had a very humble household, and in our house, we had two electrical things: a light bulb and a radio. Right? And both fascinated me. And even before I was like 7 years old, I was curious. I was trying to find out how the light bulb worked. Then I was trying to find out how the radio worked. And when my mom went to work, one day I went to the back of the radio with a screwdriver and opened the radio up and looked to see where the man was in the radio. And of course, all I saw was some resistors and capacitors and diodes and stuff like that. And my mom came in and she gave me a spanking and tell me, go to the library, get some books and read about it, and you will know about it, which is what I done. And within months, I built my first radio. So I came to London with that basic electronic knowledge. And around the corner from where I live was a shop called Broadway Electronics, because my father was in Tooting. So he was in Tooting Broadway, and I was always in Broadway Electronics. By then I could read circuit diagrams and I could build different things. So, cut a very long story, very short. You know, I started to mix, at that time, music was basically soul and reggae. There weren't all these divisions and sections that we end up with now. And soul was basically Motown and Stax, and reggae, it would be like Treasure Isle, Coxsone, and now and again you get Dynamics, and so so it was like a handful of labels dominated the scene, and Trojan was like getting popular in the charts. When I first came here, you had things like Young, Gifted, and Black. You Can Get It If You Really Want It. Desmond Decker, It Make. Motown, you had things like Tracks of My Tears and Second That Emotion. And, and it was also the era of Black awareness. Because by then, Black America started to protest about years of racial equality and racial injustice. Black people had only just got the legal right to vote and stuff like that. So, people were rebelling, and it was like the start of the whole hippie era. So just to pitch, just for you to get an idea,
yes,
right? So at that time we didn't have things like rap. We didn't have dub. We didn't have hip hop. We just about had terms like funk coming in for like a more, danceable type of soul. So you could see how basic it was. But I really wanted to do something in music. You know, I really love music. And you know, some of the stuff that I loved was like Bob Marley, Duppy Conqueror. That's one of the first records I bought. And I loved anything on Treasure. Like I loved the U-Roy, Wear You to the Ball, You'll Never Get Away, Version Galore. You know, I mean, I grew up with those things. In fact, you know, I grew up wanting to be U-Roy. You know, I thought this is exciting. How can a man chat like this, man?
Yes.
So yeah. Obviously, years later, I got to meet him and work there. Yeah. So I went through the 70s, and after like a bit of bad boy business, I got sent back to Guyana on a disciplinarian trip, and then I came back and got serious, you know.
Yes, changed man.
Yeah, because you know I was getting into trouble before, you know.
Yeah.
So I came back, met my lady who became my partner, and yeah, we just developed. And one of the first things I thought I'd do is to build a studio.
Okay.
So in the second house we bought, we built a studio in the front room, and I got the name AREWA.
AREWA.
Yeah, because I was working with some Nigerian guys. I remember down in Wandsworth. There's one tall guy named King Paul. The guy was about 7'1.5" or something. And I said to him, I'm looking for a name. And he looked at me and he said, well, your features look like Yoruba, so you should get a Yoruba name. So I said, okay, give me some. And one of the names he gave me was AREWO, ARIWO.
Okay.
And I looked at it and I said, yeah, it's nice, but I don't like the O at the end. So I changed the O at the end to make it A, and it's been with me since then.
AREWA, great story.
I started AREWA. Yeah, I started AREWA.
And
so
what year was that?
Well, I actually started, the studio started before the label. The studio started about 78, 79.
Okay.
You know, in some crude form. And then I improved, because remember, I never worked in the music business. You know, I never worked at the studio. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just jumping in this thing and decide, right, I'm gonna start a studio. And of course, then the studio was like starting the studio now, where you get some software and old computer and you're up and running. No. You needed, and you still do if you look behind me, there's a mixing desk. You needed a proper mixing desk. You needed a tape machine to go. You needed a lot of outboard gear. And your average mixing desk probably you had to either have it built for you, or you would build it yourself, or you had to spend like the equivalent of, say, I don't know, £200,000, because you know it was really specialist equipment. So being an electronics guy, I built my mixing desk. Then I bought a 4-track, then improved it to 8-track, then so forth.
So the birth of AREWA, what year would you say that?
AREWA, the studio would have been, say, 79.
79.
And the label would be 81.
81. All right, so 40 years then.
Yes.
You're celebrating 40 years.
40 years as the label, as AREWA label. 42 as AREWA the studio.
Yes, great. And over the years, what have to you been your successes that you feel, you know?
Well,
this is what it's all about. You know, when you've had that feeling, this is what it's about.
Well, some of my successes weren't really successes, but it was like titillating to myself. I mean,
Yes,
like
exactly.
the first tune that I made that actually
Nice.
ended up on vinyl, I thought was fantastic.
Of course, achievement. That's an achievement.
Even though the record didn't do anything. In fact, was quite embarrassed because, you know, when I give it out to radio DJs, nobody would play it, you know. Give it to Tony Williams and Rodigan, and none of them played it, you know. In fact, you know, I tried to get hold of Williams and he was dodging me. You know, I couldn't get a call back from Rodigan until I write him, and then he reluctantly, he took my call, and then he said to me, "Boy, can't play that."
So when was when was your first airplay where you sat there and heard your tune come up on the station there?
That would have been a little while after that first record.
Yeah, of
That
course.
first record, AREWA001, bombed, right?
Yeah.
And then AREWA002, the singer died, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I wasn't having much luck in the record business.
That's right.
Maybe that was time to pack it in.
No.
Then the third one was a record called Young Girl by Family Love. That one got played.
So third time of asking.
Yeah, that one, it went on to sell about 2,000 copies. So that was good. And then we picked up, the studio got more professional. Then we moved to Peckham.
Yes.
Moved from my front room in Thornton Heath. I moved to a bigger place, a basement, and 4 floors, 4-story. And that was Peckham. And by then we started to produce a lot more. Different artists started to join the label. Even artists from Jamaica, Johnny Clark would come in. We had to be like Desmond Decker using the studio, Laurel Atkin, Rico Rodriguez. You know, quite soon we were one of the main studios, but we never really had any other hits as such until 84, 85, when I made some changes, because I was always changing. Just like now, I'm always changing little things. And I had Lee Perry come down to the studio to record some album. And, you know, we became friends. Yeah. And he was recording stuff for me as well, Lee Scratch. And then he kind of showed me little tips how to balance a record. He showed me what I thought was a balance wasn't really a balance, you know, because one thing was Scratch, his ears, you know. Yes. He had a good pair of ears. So so I learned from Scratch, and then the first record I recorded after that was Country Living. Yeah. Lay the rhythm track and put it out there to different singers. Everybody turned it down. People said the rhythm track wrong and back to front and this. So I went back to one of the girls who turned it down in the first place, Sandra Cross, and I said, Sandra, sing it for me. You know, I'll give you some money. She came back, she sung it, then got Black Steel to put some harmonies on it. Then I mixed it in a way that I learned. The next thing I know, the record flying, because I took like 500 up to Jetstar, and swing back around and give Dub Vendor 200 copies. I only had about 300 left. By the time I reached back to the studio, the phone ring, Jetstar on the phone. Jetstar said, Mr. Neil, could I have 1,000 of that record? 1,000? joking, but I just give you 500. He said, yes, Mr. Neil, I'll finish. I said, but that's in like 3 hours. I said, you're making a mistake. He said, no, Mr. Neil. The record will finish. So I said, boy, where am I gonna find the money now to press? And he said, don't worry, you press it and we will take care of that. So next thing I know, bam, 1,000 press. And as I press the 1,000 finish. And that's when I realized it was a hit. It's when people kept coming to me and saying, boy, I hear your tune. And that's when, so all the previous talk I had with artists before, the artists said, and you must promote the tune, man. The truth is, when you have a hit, people tell you, you don't tell people. People tell you about the tune. Yeah. And next thing I know, Country Living sitting on for #1 of the charts within 4 weeks.
Yes, and we all love that tune for years upon years.
Going back to Country Living.
Yes.
Radigan called me up. Radigan said, boy, I take back everything, you know. I said about you. I said about the thing. I said, oh, no problem, man.
Of course.
That's like, because what I learned is that you had to come good in that time.
Yes.
You know, the benchmark was so high.
Yes.
Because at the top of the charts, you had things like Dennis Brown sitting and watching, Bob Marley waiting in vain.
Yeah.
You had all kind of top records, right? And there I was coming with my homemade thing, you know. I mean, I didn't stand a chance because all those top records, you cannot underestimate and underrate Jamaican studios. Yes, Jamaican studios at that time were first class recording temples that were made properly, and they had engineers who knew exactly what they were doing. People like Sylvian Morris of Harry J, you know, Sid Buckner, Errol Thompson, you know, even the Channel One guys who came, they learned their craft. So when you come in, whether you come from England, America, or what, you have to match.
Yeah, of course.
You have to match the best, you know. And so I had to learn my craft.
Great.
I think sink or swim. So, you know, I mean, I don't regret people ignoring my tunes at first, because the more they ignored it, is the more I was determined that I was gonna get there one day and make tunes that people want to hear.
Great. Then as we're sort of wrapping up now, so tell us about the future, AREWA, the future, and the kind of artists that you're promoting now.
Well, the future, I don't really deal with future because future is clairvoyance, you know, and I don't really deal with, and clairvoyance is all your business. So we don't really deal with all your business. But for me, now, you know, I mean, I'm almost retired, right? You know, I mean, my sons, they're more running the business.
Okay.
And I'm more dealing with African, and I'm just relaxing and playing old tapes. If you look around the studio, you see only old tapes, you know?
Okay.
I'm playing back tapes and putting together compilations.
Nice.
So I'm dealing with the present, not with the old.
So are you doing a 40th anniversary?
Sure.
Or some thoughts?
No, I mean, we've got a place in Gambia. We've got a place called Back to Africa, AREWA Retreat in Gambia. Okay. I mean, we probably do some shows there. I'm just waiting to see how this pandemic opens up, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm not really, hey man, I'm taking it easy.
Okay, so we're not gonna see a special album, AREWA 40th special album.
No, the 40 years are dubbed out, you know?
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
But like Hopetown Lewis said, I'm just grooving, simply grooving. grooving out on life. That's all. Grooving out.
Excellent. Great. So on that note, that's a great note to finish on, Neil. And I'm so pleased that you gave us the time as part of the Reggae Global and Culture Online. And
Yeah.
this event is linked to Reggae Month in Jamaica, recognized by the ministry. And so it's really great to have you on and you're a greater legend than you realize.
I don't realize nothing.
I know you don't. But it's
cool.
the achievement. And it's always about high performance. It's always about a proven track record of achievement. And it can be measured, it can be seen where it came from, it can be also seen that the hurdles that you overcame in order to get to where you are. And,
yes.
That's really important. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks.
Have a good day. Thank you all, and see you again soon for Reggae Global and Culture Online. And you can go to freshfmradiolondon.com for more information. Thank you. Bye.